Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Broadcom AppNeta webinar, Build, Deploy, and Configure Your Demo Environment. My name is Naidi Dan from MBCom Marketing Team, and I'm delighted to be your host. Before we start, please make sure your microphones are muted during the session, and you can use the chat box at any time to share your questions. We will have dedicated time at the end for the Q&A. This session is recorded, and it will be shared with you later. Also, it will be available on our YouTube channel. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Prem Parkash, pre-sales engineer at MBCom Technology. Prem has an extensive expertise in AppNeta product, and he will walk us through today's topic. Over to you, Prem.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prem Prakash, and I work as pre-sales consultant with Broadcom Solution, covering mainly the network monitoring solution. So in today's session, we will showcase you the use cases of AppNeta solution and how AppNeta is going to help you out in understanding or fixing issues. And also we will help you out in showing some demonstration where you can build your own environment so that you can present that to your customers or end users, right? So I'm quickly sharing my screen now. Okay, so the solution is called as AppNeta, and AppNeta is being acquired by Broadcom. Can anyone confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we do. Thank you, Prem.
Okay, so so today's session is about AppNeta alone, and we will also talk about the challenges, why we need AppNeta solution when we have traditional network monitoring solution in place, right? So let's talk about the overview of Broadcom Network Observability Solution. And before we start, we want to talk about increasing challenges that we have in network operations today. So when we think about how networks were before, like maybe 5 years or 10 years, and how things are now, okay, so there is a complete drastic change in how networks are now. So earlier days, we used to have data centers, and then we had our remote offices, which was connected using managed network, maybe using VPNs or maybe using MPLS, where things were easy to monitor using the traditional network monitoring solution using SNMP or ICMP, where you can monitor end to end. But as things evolved, people started adopting cloud applications, a cloud network. And also we have seen after pandemic, there are many users working from different locations, sometimes maybe working from office or maybe from a cafe or maybe from home. And when we have work from home users or hybrid workers, and when we have cloud applications, right, or SaaS application, this traffic goes through a different network that is called as unmanaged network. So which is not in your control. An example is ISP, right? And also we have seen people are adopting to SaaS solution where we do not have an option to monitor SaaS, right? Because once the application moves to SaaS, you have no option to install an agent on that to do application transaction tracing. And we have seen people are adopting to SD-WAN solutions. Okay, so to reduce the cost or maybe to increase the security, people started adopting to SD-WAN solution. And since SD-WAN solution has their own monitoring tools, but they are providing only edge-to-edge monitoring, not end-to-end monitoring. And we spoke about hybrid workers as well. And people are also using zero trust or ZTNA, where the traffic from the end user goes through a proxy and then goes to the end SaaS application, a cloud application. So when you have a network like this, or when you have an environment like this, where you have managed network, unmanaged network, and also unmanaged application, so it is difficult for traditional monitoring solution, that is traditional network monitoring solution, to do end-to-end visibility, right? So there are too many blind spots here. So this is what Broadcom offers when we talk about complete network observability. So this talks about managed network monitoring and also unmanaged network monitoring, right? So we can monitor your traditional networks, your firewalls, your routers, your switches, your wireless LAN controllers, Okay, all these traditional networks we can monitor, and also we can monitor modern networks like SD-WAN or software-defined network. If you're using Cisco ACI or Meraki or Fortinet SD-WAN, we can also monitor that. So we can do fault management where we can discover the complete end-to-end topology, and we can also identify faults in the network. We can get the performance reports of your network. So it can be your how your Cisco device is performing, how your Palo Alto firewall is performing, right? And we can also collect flow, that is net flow traffic, and we can understand what kind of traffic is flowing to the network, right? And we can discover software-defined network or software-defined WAN using our modern network, that is virtual network assurance. The last one is the digital experience. That is where we will be spending most of the time. So that is provided by AppNeta. So it uses patented algorithm called as two-path, which we will be discussing. And also it uses synthetic traffic to send test traffic from the source to destination, and it can identify any bottlenecks within the network or in the cloud application. So network observability from Broadcom, when we talk about complete end-to-end observability, it is capable of identifying faults and triggering an alert, that is an alarm, which can be assigned or integrated with automation tools or maybe with ITSM tools, where you can update a specific administrator, or you can also take automation self remediation steps as well. We can collect performance data. So we can identify how your CPU memory or interface utilization for the last 6 months, and we can also collect the flow data. We can show you the end-to-end topology, and we can also capture configurations and syslog messages. We can discover your software-defined WAN, software-defined data center, and also we can monitor your Wi-Fi environment. And the last one is the end-user experience, which we will be discussing further. Okay, so what actually AppNeta does, right? So AppNeta does 4-dimension monitoring, right? So there are segregated into two different things. One is active monitoring and one is passive monitoring. So active monitoring is something where you are continuously testing your network and your application. So in active monitoring, we have network paths. So network path, we are going to monitor the complete hop or the path which your network takes from the source to destination. And we can identify all the hops that is available in your network, and we can identify which hop is taking more time to respond, or in which hop you see data loss, or in which hop you see even the voice loss. You can see that in complete end-to-end network path. We can also do web or URL experience. If it is a browser-based URL or a HTTP-based URL, we can use synthetic transactions where we can ask the system to do the activity and identify how your application is performing or how your API URL is performing. And if there is any issues, it can provide you in-depth insights in which API call or in which page there was a problem, and it can also provide you error messages along with screenshots. Next comes the passive monitoring. So passive monitoring is done using span traffic. So the monitoring point, the solution is capable of collecting span traffic. So if you can mirror your traffic from any core switch and you can feed that to our monitoring point, in that case, it can identify what traffic is flowing through your network. It can identify 2,000 applications out of the box. So you can see how many people are using maybe YouTube, or how many people are using Netflix, and what is the total amount of download that happened on Netflix per specific user. Since we have the span traffic, we can use our packet capture capability where we can use the solution and we can filter the packets and we can use that for troubleshooting. So normally what happens is whenever you want to troubleshoot something on the network side, you need to install Wireshark or you need to run TCP dump. In many critical organizations, installing third-party solution is something which is not easy. So in that case, you can use AppNeta packet capture capability where you can filter and capture the packets, and you can forward that to the respective user. So how AppNeta does monitoring, right? So AppNeta does monitoring using monitoring points. There are two important components here. One is the AppNeta service, and other is the AppNeta monitoring point. The AppNeta monitoring point is the one which is going to do continuous testing on your network and your application. AppNeta monitoring point has different flavors. So there is hardware available that Broadcom sells to customer. So different sizes are available for remote offices. For data centers, we have huge hardware. For remote offices, we have a small one. And we can also implement monitoring point as a virtual machine in KVM and VMware environment. So these are the two virtualization environment that is supported, KVM and VMware. And you can also implement monitoring point on laptops. If you want to monitor work from home users or work from anywhere users, if they are running on Windows or Mac OS, we can install the monitoring point on the laptop, and we can do continuous testing from the laptop as well. The monitoring point can also be deployed in cloud. It can be Azure, it can be AWS, it can be GCP, from where we can enable monitoring. So there are different flavors. As I said, we have hardware monitoring point. So a few model numbers are mentioned here, M70, R90, and we have few more, which is big data center hardware like R1000. And we have our workstation monitoring point, which is coded as N10, and it can be installed on your Windows and Apple or Mac operating systems. We can also deploy a container in Azure or AWS, and we can also implement it as a virtual machine in KVM and VMware environment. So what are the use cases that AppNeta can deliver, right? So when we are monitoring unmanaged network or unmanaged application, so where we have no idea of where the problem is coming from. As an example, if most of the people are using Office 365 or maybe Microsoft Teams or maybe WebEx, which is hosted in cloud. So if a user complains about any problem, though the application or though the network through which the traffic is passing through is not owned by the IT, but still it is the responsibility of IT to fix or identify the problems, right? So if there is no solution that can provide in-depth visibility into your network or application that is not owned by you, too much time is spent on specific problems like this. Okay, so the main use cases are, first is end user experience. Okay, you understand how your user experience is because you're continuously testing your application. You're continuously testing your network. Before even a user complains about any problem, the solution using a synthetic transaction can alert you that this specific problem is appearing or this specific problem is seen on the specific network or in the specific application. You can also use AppNeta solution when we are doing some kind of transition or transformation. Or as an example, if we are moving your application from on-premise to cloud, you want a solution that can validate how the performance is. So during that transformation stage, when we are moving that application, you can use AppNeta and continually test your on-prem application. At the same time, you can test the application that is moved to cloud. So once you see the validation, once you see the user experience is same when compared to the on-prem application and cloud application, then you can move that cloud application to production so that you're 100% sure that this cloud application provides you the same performance or same experience as your on-prem application. So it can be used for this kind of transformation as well. Making IT more efficient, right? Since you know where the problem is coming from, the problem is coming from the network. So you know which network is it. So you very less number of engineers or very less man hours are assigned to that specific ticket, and the MTTR is going to reduce so that your IT engineers can spend that valuable time on some other complex issues rather than working on issues, something like this. And we can also monitor work from home users. So if we have users working from home, we have the agent where we can enable the testing, and you can understand which user is having an issue, which laptop is the troublemaker. All these details you can also can be seen using the AppNeta solution. Okay, so what is the network path, right? So as I said, the network path is the path that, or the route which the traffic or the packet takes to reach from the source to destination. So network paths are logical routes which keeps changing. So AppNeta solution can identify at which particular time which route was taken. So using the TruePath technology, this is a patented algorithm with Broadcom users. There are 3 different levels of monitoring that we have configured. So we call it as CPA1, CPA2, and DPA. So to make your networks, normally what happens is whenever there is a testing tool which is continuously testing traffic, so networks gets overloaded. Keeping that in mind, in Broadcom AppNeta, we are using only CPA1 first. So very less amount of traffic, that is about 20 to 50 traffic packets are sent on your network. Okay, with the small amount of traffic, we can identify if there is any problems in your network or not. So when we understand that there is a problem, to confirm that problem, we are going with CPA2, where we are sending little more packets where that packets can identify and confirm, yes, there is a problem that I have seen. And once the confirmation is done, then we go to deep packet analysis where we send little more packets, and then we can provide more visibility with respect to hops, with respect to latency, with respect to data loss, etc. So using this kind of feature, we make sure that the network is not overloaded when we are sending the test traffic. So this is an example how a hop by hop or end-to-end visibility looks like with respect to network from the remote location or from the home or from anywhere. You can see how many hops or what is the route that the traffic has taken to reach the destination, right? So you can see how many hops are there, which hops belongs to your own network, which hops belongs to your ISP, what is the last mile ISP, what is transit network, and which hops belongs to your cloud network as well. So once you see a performance problem, you can easily identify from the view that any hop that is not belonging to your environment, and if it is belonging to ISP, then you can immediately raise a ticket with ISP. The system also provides you route analysis view or route visualization view, where we can use the UI and we can drag the time to identify at which particular time what route was taken. If I've seen like there was a problem at 1 o'clock or maybe at 1:05 or 1:18, I can take I can go to the route visualization. I can see which route was taken at that particular time. And we can also have different protocols. We use TCP, we use UDP, we use ICMP. In some cases where ICMP is not allowed for some applications, then we use TCP on 443 there, where we can get the hop by hop view using that specific protocol. So apart from the network path, the next one is the end user experience, right? So network is all about sending TCP packets or ICMP packets or UDP packets to identify which hops are there, maybe running trees routes in the backend and things like that. But when we talk about end user experience, we are monitoring a application here, a URL. It can be a browser-based URL like officeonline.com, or it can be API URL using some post request or get request. Right, so we can identify or we can use that, and we can see how much time this specific transaction took to complete. right? So in this case, we are using Office 365 and we are monitoring Office 365 from 3 different locations, and we can see how much time, the transaction took to complete from different locations, right? So we have seen, we have configured it from Vancouver, we configured it from San Francisco, from Boston. We are monitoring the same application. So if we see a problem, we can go to that specific test. So in this case, we are going to the Vancouver test, which we configured for Office 365. We can see how much time the network took to respond, because the application performance could be because of the network or because of the server itself, or maybe it could be an issue with the browser. So the solution provides you end user experience where you can see the network is taking 952 milliseconds to respond. But your server, you can see that is taking 2.9 seconds, right? So here from the view, we can identify that, okay, the server is the one which is taking more time to respond, right? So you can go one step further and you can see like a drill down option. You see a waterfall diagram where we can see which calls were having issues. So when we access an application, there can be so many calls in the backend that is happening. And from here, we can see there is a call which is having a 404 client error message. And also we see one URL, also one call, which is taking 13.3 seconds to respond, right? So that is the waiting time which we have seen. And this can be taken as a screenshot, or we can export this report and we can send it to Microsoft stating that this specific call is the one which is creating a trouble and which is taking more time to respond. The third use case, we spoke about network path, we spoke about end user experience. The third one is the usage. As said, the usage can be monitored using mirror traffic or span traffic. If we assign the mirror traffic or we feed the mirror traffic to our monitoring point, the monitoring point or the application AppNeta solution itself can identify 2000 applications out of the box. So it can be YouTube, it can be Office 365, it can be Facebook, it can be Netflix. So most of the well-known applications are registered out of the box. And if any application, if you have a custom-based application that is not in the list, even if you want to identify the usage of that application, the system provides you flexibility to create or register new application. We can also go through that process using our demonstration, where we need to provide the application IP addresses and the port number on which the application is running on. We can also see end user experience. So this will be the real traffic, because we are collecting the span traffic, and we can see which user, what application at which particular time, okay, how was the performance. So all these details can be seen. Using the span traffic, we can also do packet captures. So we can keep the data for up to 365 days. It can be network data, related data, or web application data. We can keep it for 365 days. So this is an example how the application view can be seen. So the usage analysis can be seen. We see that these are the top used applications in your environment. There is MS CDN, MS Office 365, and we see GitHub, and also we see LinkedIn. So these are the top used application in your environment. And we can also see what is the total amount of packets, what is the total amount of bandwidth, and also additional metrics like what is the network latency, what is the application latency. And this is not the synthetic traffic. This is the real traffic that is running in your network. And we can drill down further to see more details about what application it is. Okay, so in this case, we're using MSCDN, and we can also see which users are using MSCDN. And we can also use the span or mirror traffic to do packet captures, where we can use filters like what host IP address, what protocol, port number, So all these details we can use in the filter, and we can download the packet capture and we can send that to the user. So AppNeta will help you out, to identify, the capacity on your network. What is the total capacity? What is the use capacity, right? So because whenever there is a problem, it could be an issue that your network is overutilized, right? So AppNeta, using its patent run algorithm, it can identify what is the available capacity. So it is doing both ways here, since we're using dual way monitoring, that is having monitoring point at both the ends. We can see how the capacity utilization is from source to destination, and how is it from destination to source. Because most of the time we have different speeds, upload speed and download speed. So that is what we are seeing here, that from source to destination, the capacity is very less when we compare with the total capacity from the destination to source. And at the same time, we can also have graphs that can show you data jitters, data losses, or latency and round trip time. Okay, so it can also be used to identify or validate what you call performance issues, and it can also be used to compare how your overlay network and how your underlay networks are performing. When we are using SD-WAN, it is little hard, difficult to validate or to identify problems. So this AppNeta can also be used to identify how your underlay network is performing and how your overlay network is performing. Okay, so AppNeta alarms can be sent to our centralized NetOps console, where we can see the complete list of alarms, and we can also see the tunnels. If we have SD-WAN environment, we can also see the SD-WAN tunnels in NetOps solution, and then AppNeta is going to provide you the things which that traditional network monitoring solutions cannot provide. That is the hop by hop view. It can tell you which hop is taking how much time and which hop is having more data loss. And then you can also go in depth to identify that, okay, there is a capacity utilization problem. So the next use case or the next step for me is to identify why my network is overutilized. So then I go to the usage, where I can see what are the top applications that is running on my network. Right, so that is the list which we see here, and I need to identify if these applications are business related applications, or if it is a non-business related applications that is overloading my network. We can also have alerts with respect to even voice traffic as well, right? So if there is any error messages, or if there is any voice loss, and also um, you know create alerts on voice traffic. And then we have seen the data jitters as well, right? So the AppNeta solution itself is not a very big solution. It's very small solution which covers the gaps that the traditional network monitoring solution that does not provide. So AppNeta solution gets integrated with our existing network monitoring solution, and it becomes a single solution, and we call it as our network observability solution. So combining both together, when we talk about analysis reports, we have seen Broadcom monitoring solution is marked as outperformer. In GigaOM analysis report, Broadcom's solution is performed as outperformer for 5 consecutive years. So from 2000, 20 to 2025, it was marked as leader. And in EMA, also Broadcom Network Observability Solution is marked as leader for 2 consecutive years. That is from 2023 to 2024, right? So this is, the high-level presentation on AppNeta solution, right? And now I will, take like 3 minutes break, or maybe 5 minutes break, and then I can show you a demonstration of our solution, and then we will help you out in how we can build or set up your environment.
Thank you so much, Prem. So maybe we can resume 140?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hi, Prem. Shall we resume?
Yes, please, we can.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello everyone again. Welcome back. So now we will be going to the demonstration. So where we can show you on an online system how AppNeta solution can help you out in identifying problems, and also how we can integrate this with our existing NetOps solution, and how we can have a single pane of glass where you can see all the alarms from the existing solution and also from AppNeta together. Okay, so this is the AppNeta solution UI, where we can see on the top, we can see the experience, that is the URL experience. We can see the delivery, and also that we can see usage, and we can also run few reports on the UI, right? So from this dashboard, okay, this dashboard is really useful for me. That's the reason I want to start with this dashboard, because from this dashboard I can see what are the applications that is monitored in my environment, and also I can see which application is performing good, which application is performing bad, right? So from here, we are using a filter where we are selecting different monitoring points. Okay, we are selecting only 3 monitoring points here. If you want, we can select all the monitoring points that we have in our environment. And there is other filters as well, where you can go on target basis. If you want to specifically target a specific application, I can do that. Or if we want based on something else, we can also use that filter to filter that specific applications. So here we can see applications for you. There is Zoom application that we're monitoring, some VCF environments we are monitoring, Microsoft Teams, Office 365 we are monitoring. We are monitoring Google Cloud, Google services. So there are a lot of applications that we are monitoring here, or services that we're monitoring here, and we can see how each and every application is performing, what is the availability, what is the transaction time, how does it look like. So in this application, we can see VCF internet performance, that it is 0% available, that is completely down. And when we can go further and we can see why it is completely down, right? So we can see from here that the connection itself was failed. Okay, so there is no connection between the monitoring point and the specific URL, and that is the reason it's marked as 0% available. And we can see, for example, if we go for Microsoft Teams, or right, so we are monitoring Microsoft Teams from different locations, right? So it is normal that every company has different locations, right? Even Broadcom has different locations from where we have implemented monitoring points. So we have monitoring points implemented in Dallas. We have monitoring implemented in Miami, Portland, right, Vancouver. So there are different places, different branch offices from where we have implemented monitoring point, and we are targeting the same application to understand how Microsoft Teams is performing from different locations. So, okay, so when I see an application problem here, I want to understand, is this something which is a local problem or a global problem? Right. So if it is happening from all the location, it is obvious that it is a global problem. Or if it is happening from a specific location, then I can go to that specific location, because this is not something globally present. So I will go to that specific location and start troubleshooting on that particular location, right? So in this example, let's take the same example here. We see from all the locations, we see the availability is 100%. And we can also see the transaction time is like 44 per seconds. And from few locations, we can see 56 and also 52, right? And similarly, we have other applications like Microsoft services, like Outlook. We can see here it is being monitored from different locations. So let's pick one application which is not performing good. Let's say, for example, we go with Office Outlook.office.com, and we go with this one, which is 99.29%, which is little less than 100%. I want to troubleshoot this application. I can click on this application, okay, from the Portland location, and I can see how the transaction is happening, right? So we are not only monitoring the entry page, we're not only monitoring the home page, we are going inside the home page. We can go log in using the credentials. We can go to some other tabs, but that might be an issue, right? So we can have that configured in our scripts, and that transaction will keep on be running by the monitoring point. Here we are opening Microsoft sign-in page. We're using the username password to log in, and we're going to open the inbox on the Outlook, and then we are validating that page, and we are waiting for that, and then we are doing the sign out. Okay, so we can see how much time each and every transaction took. For example, if I go with, let's say example 1 hour, right? Or maybe to make it more precise, I'll go with 1 day. So now we can see most of the time the transaction took like around what do you call it? It's normal. There is no huge spike here, but at this particular time we can see a huge spike that is 60 seconds, and again it went normal, and then it came again 60 seconds. Okay, so we can see the complete transaction, and when we go here we can identify that the home page itself was taking 59 seconds. We can also go from a milestone view to end user experience view, where we can understand what is the network time, what is the server time, and what is the browser time. So how much time each and every thing took. But this, for example, this one, we can see the browser itself was. It means that the browser was just opening the page, and it did not send the request to the network or to the server. So that is what we see, that it's taking like 39 seconds, and we will also dig deeper why the browser took like 59 seconds here, right? And there are other metrics as well. We can also see how the redirection time is, how much time the redirection took, how much time the DNS took to respond, because in some cases we have seen the DNS is also culprit at times, right? So if the DNS is not proper, or if the DNS is responding slow, it could impact your end user experience. So we are also seeing how much time the DNS took to respond, and how much time it took to download that specific page for which you're opening the URL. And we can also see the aptX score. The aptX score is the overall score of the transaction, like from the starting to end of the transaction. Okay, what is the score? So this score is automatically calculated by each and every page. It takes an average of that. And we can also see the end-to-end, the DNS responses for all the servers. So in this case, we have only one DNS server. That is the reason we see the response for one server. If we have multiple DNS servers, we can also see the responses for all the available DNS servers. For example, in this one, at this particular time, there was a different DNS server as well. We can see the response at that particular time, how it was, and we can see the responses, how it is. Okay, so now let's go back to the same place. So here we have seen a huge spike. So I want to troubleshoot now at this particular point to identify why it took like 59 seconds. I can click on that specific interval, okay, to take me to a page where it can show me what exactly happened. As I said, the browser itself is having an issue here. So the browser opened the page. It was trying to load the page, but it was not loading it. It was not sending the request. Okay, so it is a problem on the browser itself, not an issue with the application or with the network, right? So the system can take screenshots as well of the browser, so that it can be sent as a proof, right? So this is how it is. And let's take another example. We can see here also, we can see a huge spike. Let's click on that. And it should also be issue with the browser, because we have seen the browser is taking a long time, right? So now to understand what exactly what the solution can provide, let's take a different example here. Let's take this small spike, which is not really big, but again, when we compare it with the overall, the spike is little big here. So if I want to troubleshoot this particular spike, why it took so much time, I can click on that spike, and then I can see what are the calls that were running in the backend. And also, since we have configured the test and we have, not we did not provide the username password for this specific application. So that is the reason it went to the open page and it did not go further, right? And it took a screenshot because it could not, whenever there is a problem going further, the system can automatically take a screenshot. It could be because of some error messages, or it could be because of limited information provided in the script, right? So in this example, this is a limited information provided in the script. And we can also see what are the backend calls that is happening. So each and every call that is happening from your laptop or from your location to Microsoft, we can see all the calls, and we can also see what exactly that call is, what is the request URL, and how much time it took for the URL for the server to respond. And we can also see on a timing basis what is the blocking time. Okay, so blocking time is like you're connecting to your network, right? So we can see all the details here, where we can easily identify if there is any error messages. I can take this report and I can share that with Microsoft, stating at this particular call I see error messages, or it's taking a huge time to respond, right? So now let's go back to the same page. So let's see that, let's assume that this problem is not from the application side. Application is really looking good. For example, in this place, we can see that network took like 6.6 seconds to respond, right? So the most of the time the traffic was in the network. So now I want to troubleshoot from the network side because I don't see an issue from the application side. So every time we do application testing, so the system automatically runs network test in the backend. Okay, to see the network test on the right side, you can go to application delivery. I can click on the application delivery and it will take me to the network test. So you can see what are the events that is there on the network, because if there could be events related to data loss, they could be events related to a route change. Okay, so even route change can be identified. If the ISP is changing, if you have multiple ISP, you can also see if there is any ISP change, network changes, you can also see, right? And you can see the hop by hop view. What are the different hops? Okay, that are present from the source to destination, right? So since we're using Office 365 here, we're using TCP. If you're using some other targets, we can also use UDP or ICMP, right? If you're targeting some specific router or firewall, then you can also use ICMP test to identify it, right? So you can go with the network view, where we can see what are the different networks are present here, or we can also go with the hop by hop views. We can see the each and every hop on the network, right? So now when we go to the network, I know which hops belongs to my network. So these are the two hops which belongs to Broadcom network, and the traffic goes through AT&T, and then it goes through the other networks, and then finally it goes and reaches the Microsoft network, right? So you can identify which network took more time here, right? So the system can identify data losses. If there is any data loss, we can identify data loss, and also we can trigger alerts for you. Okay, so this black line is the threshold line, which is 2%. So anything above the threshold, we will trigger an alert, right? So now we can see this, there was alert at this particular time, and this alarm got cleared at this particular time. And also again, we are seeing an alert here again, right? And we can also collect other metrics with which is data jitter, latency, and also round trip time. So we can see how the latency is, how the data loss is, and we can see also the data jitter. So now we know that there is a data loss, okay, that happened multiple times here on the network. So when we assess traffic, we see data loss is happening, but still we do not know, is the data loss coming from my network, or is it coming from the AT&T, or is it coming from the Microsoft network? Okay, so where should I open a ticket, right? Even that question is still not answered, right? So whenever there is issue like this, So automatically the system, runs a diagnostics. So it runs a diagnostics in the backend, and it can provide you more information. For example, if I pick this test, right? So in this test, we are running diagnostics automatically. So here on the right side, you can access the diagnostics. So whenever there is a data loss, this is automatically triggered by the system. And to access that, you can click on that diagnostics, and you can see what are the hops that is present. And if you're interested in data details, or if you're interested in voice details, right, we can also send voice traffic in the network. So if I'm interested in data details here, and I can click on data, and I can see the complete list of hops that is present in my network. And I can see from this first hop, which is my network, as we can see the IP address. So here I don't see data loss. Data loss is 0, and latency is also okay, and round trip time is also okay. But when my traffic leaves my network, that is my internal network, and reaches the next hop, that is the ISP hop. So from the IP, we can see this is a public IP. There we can see a data loss of 41.37%. So this data loss is not seen in my network, but it is seen in the ISP network, right? And also we can go further, and we can see other hops. I don't see much data loss. Okay, and this particular hop, I see a data loss which is not above the threshold. It's 0.68. But this hop, the one which is the next hop to my network, is the one which is throwing more data loss. So now I can open a ticket with the ISP with this information and tell that this problem I see from this specific hop. Okay, so this is a proof that I will be providing to ISP, informing about network performance issue from their side. Okay, so there are multiple diagnostics here. On the left side, on the right side, we can see there are multiple diagnostics. So whenever there is a problem, the system runs diagnostics, and it saves that diagnostics, so that in future, if you want to compare any issues, if I see multiple times the same issue appearing, I can go to each and every test, and I can see at this particular time what was the problem. Okay, so that is the reason we are saving all the diagnostic results within the system. Now, for a work from home user, we provide additional information, right? So this is a Windows machine on which we have done testing, and we are testing a specific application, or in this case, we are targeting a URL, right? So we can see what is the capacity. We can see the same hop by hop view. What are the different hops that is present, which we have seen earlier. We can see the capacity. So what is the total capacity, utilized capacity, available capacity from the source to destination and destination to source, right? So we can see the total capacity here is around 13.95, and it is almost 90% utilized. Okay, 12.44 Mbps is already utilized, and this yellow line is the provisioned capacity. Okay, so you can also edit the provision capacity. So if you want to specify a provision capacity which you receive from your ISP, you can also specify it, and you can also assign a cost. For example, if you have costs assigned to the bandwidth utilization, which most of the customers have, you can also assign costs associated with that, so that you can easily identify what is the capacity at this particular time and what is the total cost that I have to pay to the internet service provider, right? So we can get other metrics which we have seen earlier: data loss, data jitter, latency, round trip time. We can also send voice traffic. If I have Microsoft Teams, that is being used by my users, I also want to test my network with respect to voice traffic. So the system can send voice traffic as well, and we can also assign QoS markings. if you have any QoS settings for voice traffic. So as of now, the QoS setting is none. But if your voice traffic if your network is configured with QoS markings for voice traffic, we can also specify the QoS markings. So whenever we send test traffic on the network with the same QoS marking, so your network treats this test traffic as a real traffic because it also has the same QoS marking as your real traffic, right? So the other metrics is for work from home users, there are many more challenges, right? So if a work from home user opens a ticket with the IT team, the IT team has no idea from where the user is connected. Okay, so is he connected with wired network or wireless network? Is he connected to which Wi-Fi? What is the signal strength? Right. So all these details are something which is not available with the IT engineer, and he has to spend a lot of time to get this information from specific from the end user. Okay. So to avoid these challenges, when we have the monitoring point on the laptop, the system can automatically get those details as well. So this particular laptop is connected with wireless network. And this is the protocol that is configured on the access point. And also we can see what is the channel the encryption standard, because home Wi-Fi, the encryption standard also depends. Because if the encryption is being, if the old encryptions are being used, we know that the old encryptions provides very, very less speed. So from here we can see this information as well. So it could be an issue with the signal strength as well. Maybe the user is sitting in in a different room, and the access point is placed in the living room. So you can see what is the signal strength. So say as of this, from this one, we can see the signal strength is 80%, which is really nice. But in some cases, if the signal strength is down, we can inform the user that, okay, this problem is not because of application or network, but it is because of this Wi-Fi signal strength. So you need to move a little closer to your wireless access point, or maybe you can put a booster in between so that it can boost your signal. We can also see what is the link speed, air time, how much time the traffic is in air, retransmission time, and the one which is useful is the number of stations, right? So if it's connected from a cafe or if it's connected from home, there could be chances that there are other IoT devices which is connected to the same access point, right? So if there are more number of stations, no number of clients connected, so it could be it can degrade the performance. If there are more than like 30 clients connected to home Wi-Fi, there could be chances that the access point cannot provide a good performance, right? So you can inform the user that I see that there are like 30 clients connected, and that's the reason you have the performance issues. Okay, there could be also cases where the network is good, the application is good, everything is good, but it could be a different issue as well, right? So it could be an issue with the laptop itself. Maybe the laptop is overutilized, right? So the system can collect the host information as well. So what is the CPU usage? What is the memory usage at that particular time? If a user has complained at this particular time that he had a problem, right? And at the same time, I see the CPU on that particular machine is more than 15%. And I can see the memory is 72% utilized. So if you want to troubleshoot, if I want to tell the user that this is the problem, I can click on this particular point, the spike here, and I can see which applications are running at that particular time on the laptop, right? So in this case, so when I click on this spike, we can see that there is a semantic endpoint protection running, right? And it is using 10.6% of your CPU and 228 megabits of memory. So now we can inform the user that this problem is because there is an endpoint protection running and it is consuming more CPU. Either you can turn it off for a while, or maybe you need to wait for the scan to complete, and once that is done, your system will be normal. So these are the additional things that can be seen on a laptop where we have the monitoring point installed. So we spoke about the URL experience, how the browser experiences, how the API experiences. We spoke about the network, how the network problems can be identified, right? And now the third use case is how we can identify usage related problems. Okay, how we can identify which application is being used more, or which user is consuming more bandwidth, right? So we can also have a route visualization here. As I said, we can see what are the different routes the traffic is taking to reach from source to destination, and also we can see on a time base as well, at which particular time which route was taken. So I can move this cursor so that I can go to that specific time where we have seen the problem, and this particular time which route was taken can also be seen. Okay, so now let's see the usage, the last use case of AppNeta. So where we are feeding the span traffic to the monitoring point, and we can see what kind of applications are running in the network, right? So when I go to the usage summary, I can see the top applications that is running in my network. So I have only one monitoring point in one location, and this is the total amount of traffic. Okay, so 400 megabits is what is the total amount of traffic, and we can also see what is the total amount of packets and flows, right? And we can also see what is the flow rate as well. So now we can see different applications here, Microsoft Teams, we can see some other applications like Google, we can see my Office 365, but it's very limited. The Microsoft team is the one which is consuming more bandwidth here. So if we want to troubleshoot some issue to identify, okay, so how many people are using Microsoft Teams? Which user is using most? So it could be Microsoft Teams, it could be Netflix, it could be anything else, right? So before we go to this point, I want to show you that how many applications the system can identify. So if I go to manage application identification, the system can identify 2000 applications out of the box. So these are the applications out of the box the system can identify, right? So it can be any application, for example, if you want to search the application, for example, if I want to go and see if YouTube is registered, okay, so I can see that YouTube is already present, Netflix is present. So all the well-known applications are already registered in the system. And if you want to register a new application, for example, have a custom application that we have in our environment, and I also want to see the usage of that specific application. So I can create a new definition, new application definition. I can provide a name to that application, and I can also provide the port numbers and IP addresses on which the application is configured. For example, I might be having an application where the web server is running on, there are multiple web, so I can provide a range of all the web servers, and also I can provide the port number on which the application is running. It can be either 443 or maybe some other application, some other port number. And once I save, the system can identify that custom application as well as soon as it sees that traffic in the network. Okay. So going back to the summary. So from the summary, let's go to one specific application and let's drill down and identify which users are using more. So let's go back to Microsoft Teams. And then I want to select from the location. So we have only one location. So I pick that location. So now here I can see in detail visibility of the traffic. So it can we can identify the top applications, categories. We have different type of categories. We have business related applications. We have some social media applications. We can categorize applications so that if you want to go and see based on the category, you can also see that. So now we are only seeing the users that is using Microsoft Teams application, and we can see the list of IP addresses here. So this IP address is the one which is using more more of Microsoft Teams. We can all see the total number of packets. We can see the network latency, how much time the network took to respond for this real traffic, and application response time, and many more, like total amount of download for that specific application. We can also see what are the other applications that this specific IP address was using. I can click on that and it will tell me what are the other applications apart from Microsoft Teams this specific user was using. So we can see only Microsoft Teams was being used by this specific user. If there are other applications, you can also see that listed here, right? So this will help you out in understanding if this specific user is having issues only with one application or he sees the same issue with all the applications, right? So you can also see that. And we can also assign thresholds for this. So if, for instance, in today's world, most of the people use YouTube to identify some kind of solutions, right? So I can have a threshold like 1 GB of YouTube is allowed for a day, right? I can assign that. If anyone is crossing that 1 GB limit, I can have an alert configured for that. Okay, so we can also use the packet capture facility or feature where we can use the same span traffic and then we can create a new capture, and we can specify what is the filter. Okay, so when you click on this information, you can it provides you information like this. So I want host only this traffic from this host to be filtered, or you want to assign a port number as well. So you can use these filters and you can quickly capture the packets, and then you can use that for troubleshooting purpose. Okay, and we also have reports. So where we can run reports. So we can have a service quality report or violation related report. We can also have data performance report, right? And also if you want to see voice performance, we can also see that. And application related report can also be seen. We can click on that and then you should be able to see the reports. Okay, you need to pick which application you want to run reports on and from which location, and you should be able to see the reports. We can also assign thresholds. So alerting profile is a place where we need to assign thresholds. So it can be related to network latency, data loss. It can be related to page load time. It can be related to usage. So here is a place where we can assign the thresholds. So if I want to assign for network, so by default, there are alerts configured with respect to violation, with respect to latency, with respect to round-trip time, or with respect to data losses. So in this case, we can see that there is a threshold not configured. The violation, the system will generate a violation alarm if the data loss goes above 5% for 2 minutes. So you can configure your own alert profile for network as well. Okay, if you want to do it for connectivity, if you want to do it for QoS change, route change, latency, so whatever metric you want to see, you can add that here. Okay, similarly to the network, we can do for web as well. We can also do it for usage as well. So we can go to web and then we can either go with HTTP, that is the API URL, REST API URL, or if we have a browser related application, we can also have alerts configured for the browser performance metrics as well, with respect to latency, HTTP errors, applet score, or if you want to see the availability as well, you can also assign it for any HTTP related error message. You can have alerts configured. And as said, for flow, I have configured one alert profile here, so which is checking for Netflix related traffic. So I can specify which application I want to target. So, and then this is the application which I was targeting, and what is the threshold here. So if the traffic rate goes above 100 kbps, in that case I want an alert, and that is only for network traffic. So I can have this threshold configured so that whenever there is a violation, I can see an alert configured. So we also have dashboards available. Okay, so there is different dashboard views available as well, which can be used. So we have availability dashboard, performance related dashboard, outage dashboard, right? Overview dashboard. We can see what is the overview, how the overview looks like. So how many work from home monitoring paths are not available? Okay, how many Azure monitoring paths are available? So we can also, we have seen the availability one. Let's go and see the performance metrics as well. So this is for violation. Okay, so how many applications are working fine, or how long the violation was there. So we can see the violation duration here. So the applications like VoIP or SAP, so those were down for more than 1 hour, and that is the reason they are marked in this color. And there are other applications that are available that were not available for a smaller time. Okay. So we can also have application quality dashboard as well. So we can see based on the application. So what is the outage, total outage? Okay, with respect to whether this was not available, the system was available, because we see zero outage. Okay, the system was accessible, but there was a violation with respect to performance. Okay, so there could be two reasons, two problems. Either the system itself is not available, or the system is available, but it is performing very slow. So in this case, we see the violation on the performance, and we can see that 50% of the time it was good, and 50% of time it was not good. And we can also see what application is it, from which location it was good, from which location it was bad. So you can see from this location, email location, we can see that it was good. From the other location, we can see that this was not good. Okay, so the AppNeta information can be sent to different monitoring solutions as well. APIs are available here. So if you want to send information with respect to alerts, with respect to performance data, the complete data is available in APIs. So we can use the API URLs where we can push the data, or the third-party solution can also pull the data from AppNeta, all the data, and they can show it in their console. Okay, and there's a new view as well. So in near future, Broadcom is planning to move everything to this new view, where I can click on the new intelligent view, where we can see really nice view with respect to alerts. So how many alerts are there? Okay, with respect to severity or with respect to the item, that is how many web paths were down, how many network paths were down. Okay, and also it can tell you from which monitoring point we are seeing more alarms, from which monitoring point we are seeing less alarms, which targets. Okay, most of the time we see the alarms are for office.com. So mostly we see this for office.com, and for other applications we see less number of alerts. right? So this is a new view that we'll be moving in near future, where we can see, the earlier experience view is removed. Rather than experience, we have the network view and the web view, right? We can also click on the view alarm console, where we can see what are the live alarms that is present in the environment, right? So at which particular time we can see how many alerts, and also the real alerts. We can see in detail what this alert is, at which particular time it occurred, right? So you can see the information, and all this views has drill down option. I can click on, if I want to troubleshoot this one, I can click on that particular view and it will take me to that view, and it can provide me more details, right? It can tell me what is the redirection time, what is the DNS lookup time, TCP connection time, transmission time, okay, what is the download time. So all the details can be seen by just clicking on the drill down option. Okay, so let's go back to the previous view. Okay, and also you can create multiple organizations here. Okay, so if we have, for example, if you're MSP, okay, and if you want to provide services to different customers, right? So I can have multiple organizations created here. So if I go to my organization summary, or if I go to change organization, I can see this is my parent organization. I have created multiple sub organization where I can assign the organization to a specific customer. So it is more or similar to multi-tenancy, right? So instead of calling it as tenant, we call it as organization here. So this can be used, okay, if there is a customer who is looking for, or is providing managed services to different customers, we can create multiple organizations and we can assign that specific organization to the specific client. Okay, and it's very simple. If you want to change the organization, if you want to manage the organization, it's very simple. You can do it from here. Okay, so if I want to go to manage the organization, I can go and create new organization, and I can assign that organization to a specific company or a specific user. So I can assign an organization and I can provide the details to that specific user. Okay, so using the APIs, we can integrate it with our existing network monitoring solution, right? And also we can use the same APIs to integrate with any third-party solutions as well. Okay, so this is a high-level demonstration on AppNeta solution, where we have discussed about how AppNeta is going to monitor your network performance, how AppNeta is going to monitor your URL or URL performance, and how AppNeta is going to monitor your usage on the network as well. Okay, so here I will be stopping my demonstration, right? And then next we will be helping you out. I'll be helping you out on setting up a lab environment, how we can install a monitoring point in a virtual environment, how we can install a monitoring point in laptops, okay, how we can enable monitoring, how we can create dashboards. So all these things will be explained now. Okay, so we can have a 5 minutes break and then we can go with the implementation.
Right, Prem, thank you so much. And also, Fox, if you have any questions, please drop them on the chat box. Maybe we can go through them after the break before we go further into the workshop. So we will resume at 2:30, Prem, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I cannot see any questions raised so far, Prem, so maybe we can resume with the workshop.
Yes, we are okay. Yes, we will resume it. Welcome back, everyone. So now we will help you out in setting up a lab environment. I'll explain you how we can implement monitoring points either in a VMware environment. In this case, I will use our VMware workstation where we will be using it to install a monitoring point, and also we will install a monitoring point on a Windows machine. Okay, so we'll use Windows Server in this example, but you can install it on Windows 10 or Windows 11 operating systems as well. Okay, so with the list of monitoring points will be here in the settings. We can go to the monitoring points and we can see all the available monitoring points that is installed or configured in the environment. And we can also see from how different locations, from which locations the monitoring point is configured. And also we can see what type of monitoring point is. We see a VMware based monitoring point. We see NetOps data collector also can be used as a monitoring point, which I will explain you. If we have existing customer with NetOps who is using NetOps, we can also ask them to enable monitoring from their data collector as well. Right, and we will also use we'll also implement the monitoring point on the Windows PC. Okay, so to add a monitoring point, the first thing to do is to add a monitoring point, right? So without monitoring point, we cannot enable monitoring, right? So once you log into the system, you need to add monitoring points, right? So if you are a MSP and if you want to create multiple organizations as well, we can go to manage organizations and we can create organizations, right? So we can create multiple organizations so that we can assign that to specific customer. So if I want to create an organization, for example, for this webinar 2, and this will be the parent organization, go and create the organization, right? Without providing any details. So the now the organization is created and I can assign users to this organization as well, or I can directly go and change the organization and I can start configuring it. For example, now we go to the new organization, that is the new one which we created, webinar 2. The first step is to create monitoring point. So there are different monitoring points, that is different types of monitoring points that is available. If you want to install for Windows, if you want to install on as a container, we can also download container and we can do that. We can also do it on cloud, right? If you want to implement monitoring point on AWS as a EC2 instance, or you can install it on Azure, or you can install it on Google Cloud, and we can install it on VMware KVM. And also there is a hardware which Broadcom can also ship based on customer request. We can also use the hardware monitoring point. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to my previous organization here instead of going to the new one. So from the previous organization, I will start adding the monitoring point. So I will go to the monitoring points again, and I can click on monitoring point, and I will pick the organization and I will pick the monitoring point type. So in this case, I'm going with VMware monitoring point. So now there are two options here. If you have vCenter, if you can download the image with supports vCenter, or if you have ESXi only without vCenter, in that case you need to download the image that you can upload easily from the ESXi, right? So in this case we are using VMware workstation, so we are going to use the image with ESXi. I can click on this to download the image. So the image gets downloaded, right? So it's an OVA file. It's about 1.4 GB, right? So once this OVA file is downloaded, you can directly import that OVA file on your ESXi environment. Or if you want to do it on a test machine, you can use a VMware workstation to do that. So I have already downloaded this image in my environment, right? So I will just open that file and I will tell you how we can use that file. Okay, because the download will take a little more time. So keeping that in mind, I have already downloaded the file. Okay, so this is my VMware workstation, right? So this is the one which is already installed, which is already running, and we can go and create a virtual machine, and we can use the OVA file to do that. Okay, so let me locate my OVA file here. Okay, so this is the OVA file which I have downloaded. So this is the one which is for ESXi, and it's about 1.4 GB, which we have seen. And this is the one for laptop. Okay, so I will show you also how we can download it for laptop, right? So that we can load both the things simultaneously, right? So I'll just copy this location. Yeah. So for Windows machine, I will go and use the Windows option, and I can click on directly download. So this file is very small file, so it will get downloaded instantly. And also you can go and see the instructions as well. So if you want to see the instructions, how to install the Windows installer, we can click on the instructions and it will take us to the technical documents where we can see what is the prerequisites and how we can install that specific exe file. So the download has started. It's around 29.6 megabytes file, which will download in less than a minute now. So once that is downloaded, we can directly go and install that on the laptop or on any server, right? So that is downloaded. So I will go and install it on a server, right? So I have a Windows server here. So there is a Windows server on which I have already copied the file, right? So I will directly go and install that file on the server, right? So this is the file which was downloaded. So it's around 29 MB. So I can double click on this and you will go install this one as we install any normal exe file. It will prompt you to enter to go with like accepting the agreement, and then we need to go next. I can go and install the monitoring point on a Windows laptop or on a Windows server. Right. So the Windows laptop or the agent which we install on Windows machines, those are very lightweight agents, and due to being since they are lightweight, so the features that the agents has is less when we compare to the features which the virtual machine monitoring point has, because the virtual machine monitoring point is more heavier when we compare it with the monitoring point which we install on Windows. Right. So the installation is complete. You can also see the details. What details are this? So now it is complete. I can click on close. So once the installation is done, the installer itself has all the details where to send the data. It will automatically report to the server, right? So you'll be able to see that getting reported here in a while, right? And you can also go and see the monitoring points and in some time you should be able to see that monitoring point listed here, right? And once we install this one, service also gets created. If you want to start and stop AppNeta service for some reason, you want to stop it for a while, right? So this service gets installed. So if I want to stop the monitoring point for whatever reason it is, I can come and stop the monitoring point here. And whenever I want to do testing, I can enable that and the testing will start again. Okay. So now let's go back to this one. In some time, you will be able to see the monitoring point listed here. Okay, and you will also see it will be marked as Windows. Okay, so now let's go and install a monitoring point on in a VMware environment, right? Okay, let's bring this one again. So this is one which is already running. So I want to go and open the file, and I will select this one. I will call it as web, and I can provide a location from where I want to save the virtual machine. Okay, so now the import is started. So once the import is done, the VM will start, and then we will help you out and how we can configure this one. So I have few screenshots here. Okay, by the time it gets loaded, so these screenshots are available where we can specify in some cases where we want to have static IP addresses instead of MAC addresses, right? So I've also explained how we can assign static IP addresses on the monitoring point, how to log in it, and then how we can configure so that it gets reported to the actual AppNeta service or AppNeta UI, right? Okay, so now the load is complete. Let's turn it on. Okay, so the operating system on which this monitoring point is configured is Debian OS, right? And Broadcom does not provide root access to the server, right? So there is only admin access, and I will explain you how we can log into this specific virtual machine using the username admin, right? And let's go back to this one. Okay, so it's taking a little while to report. Let's go back here. And one important thing here is to log into the system, right? So we need to first identify the MAC address of this particular machine, right? So I can go to settings, and then I can go to the primary NIC, and then I can go to advanced. So this MAC address is important to log in. Okay, so initially there was a static password, but now Broadcom has change the password. Okay, and it is configured in such a way that the password is the MAC address of the interface on which you are installing the monitoring point. Okay, and the password is not with colons, so you need to remove the colons and other characters in the MAC address will be used here. Okay, and it should be numbers and only the capital letters, no lowercase, right? So this will be the password, and the username will be admin. Okay. So for assigning IP addresses, you can, if you have DHCP server configured, you can use the DHCP configuration, or if you want to assign static IP addresses, you can also assign it once you log in to the system. Okay. So this is this will start. The system is going to start. It's loading everything. Yeah. So now the system has started. So once we have the login prompt, we will try to log in using the credentials which I have shown you. So we'll use the admin and then the password as this one. Okay, so we have the prompt here. So the username is admin. And yeah, so this is the main thing here. So here the system does not allow paste. So this is the little hardest part where we need to type the password manually. Okay, so this is initial. After that, we can use the UI to change the password. So initial configuration, we need to use the manual way. So this is the password. So I'll make it a little small. Zero. Okay. So this is the hardest part. So where we need to enter the password 9, 8, B 2 0 7 F. Okay, so now we have logged into the system. Okay. Okay, so once we log into the system, then we can go and configure it. So now what additional thing we need to do is, so we will go back to this one, add meeting point, and we'll go to the same one, VMware. Okay, so we have downloaded this one. So the next thing is we need to click on continue. Okay, so we have downloaded the image and now we need to configure the monitoring point. So when we click on this image, when we click on continue, it will give us additional information. So what are the information? So what is the password? Okay, that you want to specify the for the monitoring point. All these details you need to configure it from here, and then that will be uploaded in the system. Okay, I can continue. Is going next. Yeah. So here we need to specify details like, okay, what is the monitoring point name you want to provide? If you want to provide it, I mean, you want to leave it blank, you can leave it. Or if you want to provide it, I can provide it like AppNeta new, and then location from where you want to configure this location. So you can specify the location. So I will use W Muscat and specify the password. So we will get rid of the MAC address password. So we can specify it, and then you want to use DHCP address or static address or NTP servers you want to provide. You can provide that, and then once that is done, you can click on generate. Okay, so this will generate 2 files here. Okay, so which we will be seeing here. So this zip file will have a JSON file and a CSV file. Okay, it will get downloaded in a while. Yeah, so this is the one which got downloaded. So we can see the file, right? So this is the file. So you need to import this file. So let's copy this file. Okay, let me copy this file. Let me copy this file here, and we need to, it's better we remove the space, and I need to extract this file. Yeah, so once the extraction is complete, I will tell you how we can load it. So let's go back to the VM. Okay, so I need to identify the IP address of this particular machine. So the IP address is 192.168.1.207, right? So let's go back to the page. So I just need to put it as 192.168.1, sorry. .207. Okay, so once I accept this one, so I can log into the system. So the password username is admin, and the password it's still the same. It's not changed. So I can, the good thing here is I can copy paste. Yeah. So once I log in, I see all the details, but this server is still not reporting to my, I mean, this monitoring point is not reporting to the server. Okay, I don't see any server details because we did not tell where the server is or which organization you need to report or which tenant you need to report, right? So to do that, we can go to APIs, and we need to go to batch and do a post. So here we have downloaded a file earlier, right? So you will be selecting that file and then doing an import. So this file is located in this location. So I will go to that location, go inside this one, select the JSON file, click on open, and then click on execute. Okay. So it is asking it in the password. Yeah. So now you will be seeing the result here. The 200 is the code which we need. Okay, which will be marked, I mean, which means that it is successful. And you can also see that the configuration successfully got applied. Okay, so as soon as the configuration is applied, it is not applied or it is not updated on the monitoring point. To make it updated, so we need to do a restart of the monitoring point. So I can do it from the console itself. So I can click on restart and then I can click on confirm. Right. So when you see the monitoring point, this should get restarted. So the restarted, I mean, the system got restarted. So once it is started, so you can use the new username, the new password and also the system should report to the AppNeta service. The system start. And if there is any questions, you can type it on the chat, right? So anything related to the product features or implementation, you can drop it there so that we can take it at the end. Yeah, so this is started. So now it should accept my new password. Yeah, so it accepted my new password. And at the same time, I can go to the UI. Yeah, so now we can see it is automatically reported here. So this is when this is on a virtual machine and it is already reported. I can click on this and I can see the details and I can launch the app from here itself. Okay, so if you have a proper DNS, the app should automatically launch. So as of now, the DNS is not present at my place. So I can just copy the IP address and I can launch to the application. Okay, so for troubleshooting purpose, you can click on the server availability. If there are cases where I installed the monitoring point and it is still not reporting to the SaaS application, I can use the check options here to check many things here. First, check if my DNS is working fine, because the DNS is not, I cannot what do you call redirect or reach this particular URLs. And on the firewalls, we need to open URLs. There are multiple URLs. So the best idea is to open a wildcard URL, which starts with star.pm.appneta.com, because most of the URLs has this domain, that is pm.appneta.com. Okay, so we see success, everything got successful, that we are able to reach the server, and that is the reason we can see the server is reported here. The monitoring point is reported here. Okay, so there are other things as well. If you want to do some settings with respect to host name, if you want to change the host name, time, password, AppNeta server details. Okay, so you can do directly from here. So if you want to specify certificates as well, so as of now it does not provide a valid certificate, there's self-send certificate. So you can also have certificates loaded. If you want to do network changes, okay, if you want to add multiple interfaces, so there can be a use case where I want to assign multiple interfaces. So one interface will be assigned to my VLAN 1. One interface will also do testing on VLAN 2. One interface will do testing on VLAN 3. So I can create multiple interfaces as well. Okay, and I can assign that interface. And this interface is used for mirror. Okay, so this is used for span traffic. So I can ask my network team to span the traffic and I can feed that traffic to this particular Ethernet 1, right? So once that is done, the system can collect the span traffic. This interface can collect the span traffic. Okay, so usage metrics, packet captures, if you're using the mirror traffic, you should be able to see it. And you have options to do restart of the monitoring point. And if you're doing changes to the network, so you can directly restart the network components, that is only the networking, not the complete monitoring point. You can also do that. And if you want to reset to factory defaults, you can do it from here. Okay, so once the monitoring point is reported, then you need to start doing, then you start configuring monitoring, right? So for configuring monitoring, you can use the settings option and you can go to monitoring policies. Okay, so instead of doing it for in single monitoring points, you can do it on a group level where you can create a policy group. So I can click on a policy group and we can call it some name. We can give it some name. Let's put as two. And if you want, you can provide a description, and policy is needed. Okay, so where you specify the target, right? So the target can be any URL. Let's say, for example, we will pick some URL here. Okay, let's pick the same URL. We're testing the same URL. Let's say, for example, I can go and use the same URL. Okay, so we can specify a name. Okay, and it's done. So once that is done, you specify from which monitoring point you want to do the testing. So this is the target URL. So I want to specify based on monitoring point name, or I can use anything. I want to test it from all the monitoring points. I can click on all. So this is our new monitoring point. So once that is applied, so here is other network testing related information, right? So do I need to do TCP testing or should I do ICMP? Because most of the time ICMP is blocked for an application. So I will go with TCP, and by default the port number is 443 since it is using HTTPS, right? And I will leave all the other details as it is, and I will go with web monitoring. That is the URL monitoring, right? So we are monitoring the network here now. The network testing is done. Now let's do web testing. So here I can click on add. So there are two options here. So either we can go with browser based URL monitoring, or if there is a HTTP API URL where we want to do some get request, post request, delete request. Okay, so there can be many APIs in the backend, right? So where we want to do some API testing, we can use this option for that. So as of now, we will use the browser monitoring, and here you specify what you want to do, right? So as of now, we are monitoring only the home page. Okay, this is the home page because there's nothing else written next to that. Okay, so I will just remove this one because I will tell you why I removed that one, right? So this testing, browser testing, the browser testing is not supported by laptop monitoring point because browser testing is done by VMware monitoring point or hardware monitoring point because it has inbuilt browser inside it. Okay, the Broadcom did not assign place inbuilt browser on laptop monitoring point because it will become too heavy for the laptop, and no one wants their agent to be heavy because that can utilize the CPU and memory on the laptops, and which can slow down the laptop. So keeping that in mind, Broadcom has made the agent on the laptop very lightweight. Okay, that's the reason it doesn't support browser. It will only support the HTTP API URL, and that's the reason I removed the Windows monitoring point. So let's go with browser monitoring point. So now we are only opening the home page here. So now my requirement is I don't want to open home page. I want to log into the system. I want to do some activity, right? For example, if I go to, let's say, for example, broadcomsupport.com, okay, or support.broadcom.com. So after going there, I want to click on products, and I want to go to support, and I want to go to maybe I know I need to go to sales, right? So if you want to do that, then you need to specify that here. Okay, so either if you have knowledge on Selenium scripting, you can use the add actions, and then you can specify it if you have good experience. Or if you do not have experience with Selenium scripting, what you can use is you can use a recorder. So there is extension in Google Chrome and other browsers as well. So you can download UI.vision. So this is the extension using which you can record a session. Okay, so this is already downloaded in my environment. So this is the one. This is how it looks like. So if you want to do some, if you want to record something, I can click on new and then to. So once it is confirmed, so it needs a new browser. Okay, I need to open a new browser so that it starts recording. So let me open this one. Okay, and let me bring this, and I can click on record. So once I start recording, I need to specify the page. For example, if I want to specify if you want to specify this one, so I can start recording. So it is recording now. So it recorded the first page. And then if I want to do something, like if I want to click on experience, okay, so it will record that action as well. Okay, and if I want to click on something else, it will record that action as well. So it will keep on recording that actions for you. And then once you're done, you can stop the recording and you can save it. So how do I import this one? So this is saved now. So to import this one, first you need to export it here. You can export in JSON format. So once that is exported, you can import it here. So now let's go back here. So here you can go to source. Either you can write that, copy the JSON file from there and paste it here, or you can use the upload option here and you can select that JSON file, okay, which was downloaded. So this one. So this you need to download, you can use, and then you can open and you can upload it. So automatically the script will be uploaded, and you can either run preview and then you can save the test. Okay, so preview is done. I can just go and save the test. Okay, so now what we have seen is we have installed monitoring point. We have seen how it is reporting to the AppNeta service, how we configure it. And after that, we have created a policy group, and then we have specified from which monitoring points we need to monitor and which URL we should monitor. So this is the one which we created in webinar 2, and this is the target URL. And it can also provide you information like which user has created this one. Okay. So if you want to edit, you can also go and edit, or if you want to delete, you can do that from here. So once we create this one, so automatically there should be web paths created. I can go to experience, I can go to web paths. So this is the new one which we created. So it is in initializing stage. So in a while it will start collecting data. And also this is the UR experience, and also you will see the network as well. So if I go to delivery and network, so there should be also a network testing created. So this is the one which we created from app new. This is the new server, and also this is in sharing stage. So once that is done, you should be able to see the results. Yeah, this is taking a while. So after that, it will start. At least it needs 10 to 15 minutes to collect the data. So we did it for different URLs. So for example, we did it for this one. This is just a weather report page where we have opened the page and then we just waited for the page to complete. We have seen different transactions. We have seen the end user experience, how the end user experience is. What is the total amount of time taken by browser, by server, and by the network. Okay, so what we have seen is the laptop, the Windows machine on which we have installed the agents is not still reported, right? So let me go and check why it is not reported. Mostly the thing will be either there will be a network issue, or there could be issue that you have used a different installer which was downloaded from a different tenant, and it is reporting something else. It is reporting somewhere else. So let me go and see what is the server which it is reporting to. I'm just checking that why it's not getting reported on my other screen. So let's go back here. It's taking some time. I can just click on this. Yeah. So we can see, as you can see, it will take a little time, but still we can see the first polling that happened, and we can see the data here. So this says that wait for a while. It will appear in few minutes. Okay, so it started collecting data. We can see that in the first poll happened at this particular time. That this page had redirection and there was DNS lookup, and it took like 2 seconds to open the page. And we can also see the DNS resolution time here. Okay, how much time the DNS took to respond. Okay, so this is how you can configure web test, right, using the policies directly. So instead of doing it individually, you can directly do it on a group level. So if you have different locations, many monitoring points, you can directly do it. Or if you have different, if you want to monitor the same URL, different URLs from same monitoring point, you can also do that. Okay, and also we have seen that, okay, this is the laptop monitoring point which we have installed. This is on my laptop. Okay, so where I'm testing what do you call AppNeta server, which is in Microsoft Azure. So it can tell you that what are the different hops that is going, and then it is reaching this one, and it can also provide the other metrics. This is my live laptop from where we have from where I'm opening this WebEx. Right, so this is my live laptop, and I can see all the details here. Okay, I will go and start the service on the other laptop where we installed it to see if it is getting reported here. Yeah, and meanwhile, this comes here. What we can do additional things is, if I want to do network testing, okay, so even the network is up now, so we can see here. So this was the one which we created on the network, and we can see clearly here. So which tests or which monitoring points are connected using wired network and wireless network. Okay, and this single arrow means that it is only single ended test, that is from source to destination, and the one with double arrow is from both the location, both from source to destination and destination to source. Okay, to make the test, okay, both ways, you need to have monitoring points at both the locations. Right, so if it is a monitoring point and the target is a URL, in that case, two-way is not possible. To make the two-way work, we should have monitoring point at the source and monitoring point at a different location as well, right? So what use cases will fit in this cases? If you have multiple branches, either they are connected with MPLS link, or if we have SD-WANs configured and you want to do a validation check to see how your overlay network and underlay network is performing, right? So in that case, you can use this monitoring point so that you can see it could be an issue. So from source to destination, the connection should be fine, but from this destination source, there could be an issue, right? So in that case, we can specify monitoring point because it's my branch office and I can specify monitoring point at that location. So we can get both ways. Okay, and if we are connected with VPN, we can also see a VPN symbol here, that this specific laptop is connected via VPN, right? And it can it is providing that information. Okay, so when we are doing web test, for example, if you're going to web app, and if you're doing web test, right? So there can be situations where you have proxy. Okay, so there will be some cases where you have proxies configured and you need to specify even the proxy as well, right? So let's go back to one monitoring point and I will just monitor some location. Let's say, Microsoft Teams itself. Let's use as it is, right? So now you want to specify proxies as well, right? So you need to specify proxy as well because without the proxy you cannot reach your servers, right? So you need to specify the proxies as well. So proxy information also needs to be present so that if there is anything not okay, so this way we can provide the proxy details here. Okay, so you need to provide the proxy URL or IP address and IP addresses, or if you have a pack file as well, you can use the pack file information here. Okay, and then the monitoring point will use the pack file when it is sending the traffic. So it goes through the proxy whenever it sends a test packet as well. Okay, so that is also something which is useful when we do test at customer environment. Okay, again, this is the same thing which we have seen. And also there are two different ways of testing. Okay, so okay, as I think we have only one now. Selenium script is the one which is supported because there were two scripting technologies that were supported earlier, but now it is only the Selenium scripting. Okay, let's go back to see if that monitoring point is reported. I'll leave this page. Yeah, so this monitoring point, the one which I installed on Windows, it got reported. The problem was I had multiple the installers. So there were multiple installers, and that installer went and reported to another organization, or that is another tenant. So I had to remove that and then install the one which I downloaded from this tenant. So now it started reporting to this one. I can see what is that monitoring point, where is it located. So again, Russell Gamma, it's running on Windows 19 and it has other information. Okay, with respect to IP address and all. Right, and you can also upgrade your monitoring points directly from here. Okay, so you don't have to go to the monitoring point and upgrade it. You will see whenever there is an upgrade available, you will see that status mentioned here, and you can click on the option and it will start the upgrading process. For example, I think I should have one here. Yeah, so if there is an option here, okay, like this, you can go and click on upgrade. Okay, so as of now, I just updated this specific machine. It had an upgrade option available, and then I was able to upgrade that. Okay, so this we have seen it. Okay, so this is a VMware monitoring point, this is Windows monitoring point, and this is a data collector. So this one is an appliance. So M70 is the appliance. This is also a type of monitoring point, which is appliance monitoring point, and it is implemented and it is also in running. So let's go back here. So now since Windows is also available, you can enable testing on Windows as well, right? So let me show you the Windows testing. For example, if I go to policies, okay, so let's put this as test 2 with no description. We can just put it as, okay, so I'll put it as Microsoft Teams, done. Okay, so if I specify the type as Windows, for example, if I go to my point and if I specify this as Windows type, okay, so now let's leave as it is. So now when I go and add web path monitoring, so if I select browser, you can see the error message here. So this one clearly says some monitoring points you have selected in this policy are incompatible with the selected monitoring settings. Okay, so as I said, the laptop monitoring point are lightweight and they do not support browser. So we need to go with HTTP or API URL itself. Okay, so you can go with get request, and then you specify the URL, and then you can go and preview, and then you can click on save. Okay, so this is the difference between what do you call laptop and the VMware or hardware. Okay, laptops has little limitations. It was intentionally made to not to overload the laptops or end user machines. As I said, if there is any questions, you can drop it on the chat. Let me go and see if there's any questions that needs to be answered. So as of now, I don't see any questions. Okay, so now you can also configure what you call alerting profile. So whenever there is any problem, so you can send the alerts to a third party system. Okay, so for example, if you have an NMS solution, that is the main solution, and you want AppNeta to send SNMP traps to your NMS system, you can also do that. Okay, so you can configure SNMP traps there, and then you can send the SNMP traps to that specific third-party solution. Okay, so even that can be done. Right. So now let's go and see how we can create some dashboards. What are the dashboard options available? Right. So dashboard options are limited here because the end goal is to send the data to your main NMS system. In our case, we are sending this information to NetOps solution, right? So the dashboards which are available here is network violation summary, but these are really useful dashboards. Okay, so if I want to see the application quality, how the application quality is, I can click on that and I can provide it as okay, I can click on that. I can, and then once that is done, you need to select whether you want to do it on web path or network path. I will set it on network path, and then you want to do it on performance, outage violation, or what do you want to do? I will go with performance violation, and then I can click on update. Okay, so you can also specify if you want to do it for all the paths or if you want to do it for specific paths. Okay, so as of now, it's searching on a location based. If you want, you can select on monitoring point based or on a specific test based, right? So as of now, it's okay. It's doing by monitoring city based. Okay, so you can specify and then you can update that one. Similarly, there are other dashboards as well, like network violation, application availability dashboard. If you want to see how the application availability is, you can also use the application availability dashboard. Okay, so you can see what are the applications that is available. And if you want to group this one, you can also group this based on the targets. So you'll see this is the application I'm monitoring. Okay, and this application I'm monitoring, and this application I'm monitoring. And these are different places from where I'm monitoring, and I can see the status, overall status of application from different locations. So if I go with the dashboard which I created earlier, so I can see the performance, how the performance is. Okay, so 98.1% the performance was okay, and 1.4% I see the violation with respect to outage. The application was not available, and then performance violation is like 0.5, and I can see that the performance violation was seen here on this particular from this particular monitoring point. Okay, I don't see any performance violation, but outages I've seen from this two. Okay, so this two from these two monitoring points, I see the outage. From elsewhere, I don't see any outage. So now my area will be like, I want to see from this area why there was outage for this application from this specific location, but not from other locations. We also have reports. So reports are also, you can specify the reports here. You can see what the available reports are with respect to performance, with respect to quality summary, with respect to capacity utilized or utilized, available capacity. If I want to run a report for total capacity, I can click on that. Okay, so I need to specify the options. Okay, if I want to do it for which one, or if I want to do it for all tests, I can do it for all tests, and then I can schedule the report and I can see this one. So this is the average total capacity, maximum minimum total capacity on each and every network path. Okay, if you want to filter, you can filter as well. If you want to specifically do it only for specific location or specific URL or specific monitoring point, you can use the filters to select that. So as of now, we have selected everything as all. So we see all the available tests which is there. Okay, and there are additional reports as well here. As you can see, you can use additional reports. Okay, that is present here. So location bandwidth is also something which we have seen customers were asking for, right? So if I want to do it for webinar, provision capacity, not found. Okay, so this one, I believe this needs the provision capacity, which I informed you. If you want to assign provision capacity, it gives a flexibility. The system gives a flexibility to attach provision capacity. Okay, so you can assign provision capacity, and then we can see the bandwidth utilization report as well here. Okay, and for existing NetOps customers, if we have a NetOps customer and if they have around 500 devices already, so Broadcom has offered free usage of AppNeta, right? So let me put the previous one. Okay, so for we call it as NetOps active customers or active experience monitoring, right? So Broadcom has released freemium version of AppNeta. So if there is existing customers, Broadcom customers who are using a NetOps solution, and they can ask for AppNeta enrollment or enablement, right? So out of the box, I mean, they get 3 universal license, right? So this is free of cost for existing NetOps customers. And how you need to avail this one, you can avail by filling this form. Okay, so this form you can obtain directly from the NetOps console. So when you go to the NetOps console, you go to data collectors, right? And then you can select the day, what do you call, you can go to active experience, and then you can enable the option for you. So as of now, I already enabled it, right? Or if you do not have this enabled, in that case, you will see enablement link here, and that will take you to this page where you need to provide your details, your company details, your company email addresses, and once you enroll it, in few days, you will receive an email from Broadcom with all the information that is required to log in. And the license is limited. It is only providing 3 universal licenses where you can use maximum of 3 monitoring points. Yep. And to get the data from monitoring point to from AppNeta to NetOps, I will explain you how we can do the integration and what is the component that is needed to do the integration, and what information you will be seeing in NetOps from AppNeta. Okay, that will, and how it is useful for the customers, for the existing NetOps customers. So we will discuss all this one, and before that, let's take a 5 minutes or 10 minutes break, and we can get back and we can see how we can enable the integration.
All right, so thank you, Prem. We can come back at 3:45. Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Prem, we have received a question here. Shall I read it for you out loud, or you can see it in the chat box?
Yes, I can see it.
Cool.
Yeah. Motors, the free license of freemium version. I'm not sure if everyone's available back now or not. The question from Motaz is, do the free license for the existing NetOps customers includes the on-premise model for AppNeta's server as well as the monitoring point, right? So to answer this question, Motaz, the freemium version does not specifically mention it is only for SaaS or on-prem, right? So since it's not specified, the freemium version should include both SaaS as well as on-prem. Okay, if customer is looking for AppNeta's on-prem version, then in that case, the freemium should be applied for that as well. I hope that answers the question. So if everyone is back, let's talk about integration. And what are the use cases for integration? Why AppNeta should be integrated with other solutions or the NMS tool, right? And how we can integrate that with our existing NetOps solution, right? Okay, so now to the AppNeta solution itself is only monitoring your user experience, but there is no correlation between your existing NMS solution, which is monitoring your firewalls, routers, access points, etc. Right? And also, it's not easy to maintain multiple screens where you want to see the user experience on a different screen and your existing network monitoring on a different screen. So everyone is interested to have one screen where you can see both your managed network performance and unmanaged network performance. And also it is useful for correlations. If there is a situation where your firewall is down, okay, the firewall which is connecting to the external world is down, and because of that the user experience is impacted. So you need a place where the correlation should happen, and it should reduce the noise that all the user experience is impacted because of the firewall. Because if the firewall doesn't work, the user experience will anyways not work, right? So this kind of correlation between your managed network and unmanaged network user experience is also something which is needed. To make these things happen, AppNeta can be integrated with NMS solutions, or it can also be integrated with even ARP solutions, right? Because we have all the information available in APIs. As we said, when you go to the settings and when we go to explore APIs, so you can see the list of API URLs available. If you want to collect information related to monitoring points, if you want to collect related information to network paths, for every information, the APIs are available, which can be utilized by any third-party system to collect the details, right? So we can see the alert profiles if you want to use the alert profiles as well, monitoring points, what is the different organizations, how many, if you have multiple tenants, and if you want to use the same use tenants in third-party solutions, we can map organization to a specific tenant, right? And you can see the web test, you can see the network test. For every information that AppNeta is collecting, there is an API available which can be utilized by the path solution, right? So if there is existing solution, Broadcom solution, who is using NetOps solution and they want to integrate AppNeta with that, so out of the box, NetOps and AppNeta are integrated, right? So how this integration works? So we all know NetOps has a component called as VNA, Virtual Network Assurance, which is used to integrate with your software-defined network, software-defined WAN, or if you're using Cisco DNAC. So it has a huge list of plugins available. If you're using 1 to 80 SD-WAN, if you're using Aruba Central, if you're using Cisco ACI. So we have different what do you call plugins available already out of the box where we can integrate this one. So similarly, we can integrate this with AppNeta, right? So what information this VNA will collect from AppNeta, right? And it will show that in NetOps. It will collect the inventory information, that is the monitoring points. Okay, it will collect the targets. It will collect network paths. It will collect web paths. It will collect the capacity related information, what we have seen there, latency, data loss information. It will collect the score information for web paths, availability. And how do we configure this? I will also show you. So once we have VNA installed or which is already in place, we need to specify the URL of our AppNeta. So in our case, the URL is app01. Here the one is app14. We need to change that, and we can provide the API token, which I will show it to you. And once that is done, the VNA will start collecting the data from AppNeta, and it will be passing it that information to the NetOps console or NetOps portal, right? So now let's go to the NetOps console. So once we install VNA, we can create what do you call AppNeta plugin. There are different plugins available here. If you can click on the new one, so there are different plugins that VNA supports. So ACI, AppNeta plugin, NSXT. So as of now, we are interested in AppNeta plugin. So we'll click on AppNeta plugin, and we need to provide the information here. So as of now, it's already provided. If I go and edit this one, so this is the AppNeta URL from which I'm collecting, and this is the API token which I have created from AppNeta. Okay, so how do we create that one? So we can go to the AppNeta page, and you can go and create the API token going by manage access tokens, and then you can create a new token. Okay, so you need to specify for which organization you want this token for. You can specify a name, and I will mark it as expiry never, and then I will use the tenant and create a token. Okay, so this token we can copy, and then we can assign it in here. Okay, so we can put the token here, and we can save, and then it will update, and then it will start collecting the data from the AppNeta solution, and it will forward that information to the NetOps console. So in the NetOps console, we can see the items here. We can see the monitoring points. So what are the monitoring points that is present? You can see the list of monitoring points. So this one we have created just now. So even this monitoring point is available. Okay, and we can see all the network paths, so which we created, network tests. So we created for Microsoft Teams. We created it for some other applications as well. So we're collecting that information, and also we are collecting the web paths. Okay, so even the web path information which we created for different application can be collected here, right? And AppNeta also can send SNMP traps for whatever issue they see to the NMS solution. Okay, so how do we configure it? If there is a requirement that I want AppNeta and I want to send the to a third-party system, okay, as SNMP traps or even a API should work fine. So APIs I've shown you earlier. So if you want to send it as SNMP trap, you can go to settings and you can go to manage, and then you will have the details here. So now I selected this monitoring point, or I can select this monitoring point, and I can specify the NMS host name. Okay, so the NMS server host name, it can be if it is Broadcom NetOps or if it is some other third-party solution, you can also specify that one, and port number, and then community string. We can generate a test trap, and then we can start sending the traps. So whenever there is a data loss or whenever there's a connectivity lost or noticed in AppNeta, so that will be sent as a trap into the NMS solution. And once the NMS solution receives a trap, so you will see in Spectrum, we have created alerts for that. Okay, since we have out-of-the-box integration, those traps are already mapped in Spectrum. So which is our main network monitoring solution. Yeah, so this will load and then it will show you the alerts, and that is there. Okay, and if you want to have multiple senders, if you have multiple monitoring points, if you want to send alerts from multiple monitoring points, you can also select a secondary sender as well, where I can select the secondary monitoring point and I can specify the NMS host name and I can send the alerts as well. Okay, so now the console is open here. So now you can see alerts from AppNeta here. So if I make it a little big, so the first thing is once VNA collects the information, okay, so all the information will be seen here under SDN. So you can see the AppNeta, how many monitoring points you have, okay, how many targets you have, okay, how many workstation related monitoring points you have. Okay, so there are workstation related 3 monitoring points, and you have enterprise monitoring points. Okay, so there are like about 4 monitoring points, and from each monitoring point, how many tests you have configured, you can also see. So there are multiple tests configured from here. If this test is having an issue, so you can see an alert configured for this, that there is a data loss on this test. So what test is it? You will see all the details here. So this is a test, and it is having issue with the measured data loss, which violates that 2% threshold. And and then you can have more information here. Okay, so about what exactly that is, and you can take necessary action or create integration with ITSM solution, so that you can have tickets created. So this is the URL on which the test was targeted. So this is the URL, which is ua01 antigena.com, and this is what we are doing testing. Okay, this is how the NetOps solution can get the inventory information and also the alert information, which will be used for further processing. Okay, so and also it can send performance reports as well, right? How data losses at which particular time the data losses, and also you can have reports with respect to the URLs itself. So how many URLs are being monitored and what is the status of each and every URL, right? So if I go and see, I'm monitoring this from 2 different monitoring points, and here also I'm monitoring it from 2 different monitoring points. Okay, so it's from Windows machines to the URL Microsoft Teams. Okay, now coming back to the main console, this is the main portal. And this portal, we have out of the box dashboards as well for AppNeta, where we can collect information or create dashboards for AppNeta related information as well. Okay. Okay, going back to the experience view, to again inform you that how a customer, existing NetOps customer, can obtain the free license. So they have to go to the administration, monitored network management, item managements, and active experience monitoring. So in the active experience monitoring, you will not be seeing both these options, right? And then once you don't see, you'll be seeing an option for enabling the freemium version. Okay, so there will be hyperlink, and that hyperlink will take you to the specific form. Okay, so this is the form that you will be filling to get the freemium version of AppNeta. Okay. So AppNeta data can also be sent to third-party solutions as well. And if there is a customer who is using operational observability or operational intelligence from Broadcom, so we have out-of-the-box connector that can collect data from AppNeta, and you can have that information available in our operational solution as well. Okay, so you can see the complete list, and also you can run reports as well from the NetApp console. Yeah. So if you want to do some queries, for example, if you want to integrate or you want to customize things, right? You want to send additional information, the information which is already in the connectors, it is not available, it is not helpful, and you want to use something else, you can also use the URLs from here. Okay, you can use the API URLs, and then you can use that in your integration, custom integrations. Okay, so it provides you complete information, and also we have our technical documents. Okay, so I will show you the technical documents as well. Okay, so we have our technical documents as well, where we have complete information about AppNeta. So we have it on Tech Talks, right? And this from here you can search for AppNeta solution here, or you can go to Enterprise and then you can go and search for the solution, right? And you will have end-to-end information about AppNeta, what AppNeta capabilities are, and also it will explain you the complete features, setting it up, okay, about AppNeta. And also we can also utilize our partner portal. Okay, so I'm not sure if we have access to the partner portal, but I just want to bring this to your notice as well. So if you need more information about the solution, you can log into our partner portal, where we have predefined courses for AppNeta. So once you log into the partner portal, so you need to go to the enterprise software solution, and you have the AppNeta component under our network observability and management. So based on the specific role, we can either go with the sales one, pre-sales, or implementer role, where we can have a complete learning what do you call a complete information related related on AppNeta, right? Structure using which you can easily understand from the start how to implement AppNeta and how to configure it. And there are also certifications available where you can also get certified on AppNeta or on complete NetOps solution, right? So, so this is the learning path, which is also useful if you want to get familiar with AppNeta. So you can register and then you can start the course. Okay, so based on the role, we have sales path as well, learning path. We have pre-sales learning path and the implementer or services learning path. Okay, so different roles are there: support, sales, pre-sales, and implementer. Okay, and you can get access to AppNeta documents if you want to use AppNeta documents and use cases. You can use the same partner portal, and you have access to all the AppNeta related documents. And there is also a few white papers related to the AppNeta solution. Okay, so partner portal is something which is really helpful to get more information. Okay, and of course we will have this video posted online as well, where you can also go and recheck the videos, and if there is any other questions, you can definitely reach me out. Okay, or you can reach our partner team as well, so that we can coordinate and then we can have multiple further sessions in future. Okay, so I will leave the floor for questions. If there are any questions, you can post it on the chat, or you can...
I believe we received a question from Omar. How will the user experience will be monitored for wireless clients?
Okay, let me go to the question. 1 minute.
Sure.
Okay, so how will the user experience would be monitored for wireless clients? Yeah, so we have, we have showcased you a use case where if a client is connected to wireless network, right, and if he's having performance issues, we can identify if there is any problem from the wireless environment as well. Okay, so this is 100% possible, right? The user experience is impacted because of your wireless network, right? So we can also provide that information. Is it because if it's because of wireless network, is it related to signal strength? Is it related to more number of clients connected to the wireless access point? All this information can be seen in AppNeta. Yeah, did that answer the question, Omar? Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Omar.
Any other questions?
No, not at the minute. Maybe we can wait for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Okay, there's a question.
Is there any blueprint for application monitoring?
Sanaur, can you elaborate on this question or blueprint for application monitoring? Because we use the URLs to monitor the application. So there is it doesn't matter which application it is. Okay, as long as the application has URL, we should be able to use that and monitor it. If the question is something else, you can let me know. Some standard list of services. So give an example of what services are we referring to? Is there a way that we can enable audio for Sanal?
I can hear you well, Prem. So
Okay. So now what you can do is since you are connected on email, you can send an email with detailed information, or maybe we can have a call after this because I'm not sure if I can enable audio. I don't see an option to enable audio for you. If you can see unmute option, then it's fine, or maybe I can connect with you later and provide you more details.
let me try to unmute him.
Hi, Prem. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think,
Yes,
yeah, we do hear you now.
Okay. My question was related to monitoring of URL. Like once you include any URL, so is there any kind of a blueprint so that once we deploy, there should be option to enable or disable the features which you want to monitor on that. So that's what I mean, blueprint of that application. In market, as per like a standard, there are a lot of applications. So do we have a kind of some standard blueprints from where we can pull out those information which will help to monitor, especially for the business critical 3-tier application? You got it?
So now it is not going to go in depth into the application, right? So for that we have our APM solution. So this is only specifically monitoring from the web service side. So you have a front-end web server, right? So we will be monitoring from the web server how the web server responses, right? If at all there is any problem on the backend from the web server, that is something which is not we are not monitoring. And AppNeta is specifically used for applications that is not owned by you. So if the web server is responding slow, it means that the application owner is the one who is responsible to fix the problem.
Yeah, but the mapping in the AppNeta, whenever we include the URL, we'll get all the details as you explained earlier, right? So those, so what do you mean? You are saying that it's a high level kind of monitoring, so we cannot go further deep unless we have another module. This is what you're saying, correct?
Right.
Okay.
See, deep dive is something which is done using APM. The reason why we cannot use APM is the application which we are using is not something is owned by you, and we cannot install an agent. So that's a gap where our traditional APM solutions cannot help.
Got it.
Right.
Okay.
So to isolate or to identify the problems, we are using the synthetic way of monitoring using AppNeta.
Yeah. Thanks.
I hope that answered your question. So I believe, Prem, we haven't received additional questions. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prem, for this amazing in details presentation, and thank you all for joining us today. Before you leave, we kindly ask you to complete the short survey you will get. As mentioned, this session is recorded and it will be shared with you all. Also, I have shared with you our YouTube channel link, so you can subscribe and be posted about all the webinars we are gonna upload. For the future meetings or scheduling a demo or further details, please reach us at info@mbcom.com. And also, if you would like to have the presentation deck, you can reach out to Prem or at info@mbcom.com, and we will gladly share it with you. We truly appreciate your time, and we look forward to welcome you in our future session. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.